Things continue to go south for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they were in a must-win situation against the New Orleans Saints and lost. Had every opportunity multiple times throughout this game, and they couldn't get the job done. This is not at all where the Steelers expected to be when they were 7-2-1. They were a team that was viewed as a potential Super Bowl contender. And every single guy in that locker room continues to say that they know what they've got to do, but they're just at a loss for why things aren't going to work out for them. And now they could be going home and missing the playoffs for the first time since 2013. On the other side, everything is good here in New Orleans, where they've clinched the #1 seed in the NFC. That means that they've got home field advantage. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, 5-0 in home playoff games. And so the road to the Super Bowl goes through New Orleans.
With the 24-12 victory against the Buffalo Bills, the New England Patriots extended their NFL record, and they won the AFC East for the 10th time in a row. But when you look at this year's iteration of the team, you see some cracks and some weaknesses that hadn't been there before. These Patriots aren't as dominant as they had been in previous years under Bill Belichick, so I think we're at the point where it's fair to wonder whether this team has a deep, extended postseason run in them. The chief concern really has to be the passing game. The Bills have a very good defense, but this is just a passing offense that can't sustain drives. It can't get huge chunks of yards. The explosive plays are gone. But the ground game, that's the identity of this team. This is, I think, the game that New England wants to play in the playoffs. They're going to try to control the clock, sustain drives that way. The big news for New England was the fact that the Texans lost their game against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is huge because they now would get a first-round bye and they would host at least a divisional game. And again, when you have a Patriots team that maybe has some more weaknesses than we're used to seeing, those two things would be huge for them making a deep run in the postseason.
All the Eagles want for Christmas is a chance to get back into the playoffs. It's going to take some help for Philly to avoid becoming the 5th defending Super Bowl champion in the past decade to miss the playoffs. But they still believe in St. Nick. Nick Foles, that is. You can't blame the Eagles for feeling a bit salty about now when you consider that 2 of their losses in particular this season were very disheartening when they blew double-digit second-half leads. It almost happened again Sunday at the Link, but they survived thanks to Nick Foles. Someone asked Eagles safety Malcolm Jenkins if he had a feeling that the Eagles would be a dangerous team if they get into the playoffs in January. Jenkins seemed taken aback by the question. It isn't a feeling, he said. We know we would be dangerous. Problem is, they might not get a chance to prove it in January.